From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo. As Prime Minister Justin Trudeau travels from Paris to Brussels today to meet with European leaders about deepening our trade and defence ties, Canada's 13 premiers are in Washington, D.C. doing similar work. They're in the U.S. Capitol to meet with lawmakers, business groups and lobbyists in a team push against U.S. President Donald Trump's plans for devastating duties next month on Canadian goods and energy, and a double hit on Canadian steel and aluminum.
Today marks the first time all 13 premiers have traveled to the United States Capitol together. Ontario's Doug Ford is the chair of the Council of the Federation. He appealed to members of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Tuesday, asking them to send a message to U.S. President Donald Trump that tariffs would hurt both the American and Canadian economies.
I have yet to hear one elected official down here and say, that's a great idea. Let's attack Canada economically. It's never been said.
Since his return to the White House, Trump has taken rapid actions to reshape global trade. Kelly Malone, The Canadian Press, Washington.
One of the contenders vying to replace outgoing Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was on CNN last night, issuing similar warnings against tariffs. Liberal leadership contender Chrystia Freeland says U.S. tariffs on steel and aluminum would be illegal and would be self-mutilating for the U.S. She suspects Canada will unwield dollar-for-dollar retaliation if the U.S. goes ahead.
And our response is going to be smart and targeted. The tariffs the U.S. is threatening Canada with are across the board, and they're going to hurt you.
Much of southern Ontario is in for another blow from Old Man Winter, with a lot of snow expected to hit parts of the province later today. Environment Canada has issued snowfall or winter storm warnings for regions including the Greater Toronto Area, Ottawa, and Sudbury. A system could drop 15 centimeters of snow in Toronto and up to 25 in much of the rest of southern Ontario and North Bay. Perhaps 30 to 40 centimeters of snow is forecast to fall in southern Quebec. Mark Fogel, an American teacher who was deemed wrongfully detained by Russia, has been released and returned to the U.S. Steve Witkoff, a special envoy for U.S. President Donald Trump, left Russia with Fogel and brought him to the White House, where Trump greeted him last night. The history teacher from Pennsylvania says Russian President Vladimir Putin deserves some credit for his freedom, too.
I also should make mention that President Putin was very generous and statesmanlike in granting me a pardon.
Trump hinted that another American may be released today. And a giant schnauzer named Monty has won the top prize at this year's Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show. Monty bested 6 other finalists to take Best in Show last night at New York's Madison Square Garden. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, Canada opens the Four Nations Face-Off tournament tonight with a game against Sweden in Montreal. Canadian superstar Connor McDavid reflected on a tourney that sets the stage for the NHL Olympic return next year.
Great opportunity for our team to come together and make our country proud.
Jordan Binnington will start in goal for Canada. In NBA action, Scotty Barnes scored 33 points and the Toronto Raptors snapped a 4-game losing streak with a 106-103 victory in Philadelphia over the host 76ers. The win came soon after the Raptors signed Brandon Ingram to a 3-year, $120 million contract extension. The Raps acquired Ingram last week from New Orleans before the NBA's trade deadline. And soccer's CF Monterrey blanked Forge FC of Hamilton, Ontario 3-0 in Mexico last night for a 5-0 aggregate win in their CONCACAF Champions Cup first round series. So the Forge is out. From the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.